Ascension St. Vincent branch of the YMCA of Southwestern Indiana. I'm Johnathan, President and CEO. And I have a special guest with me. Well, allow our resident chef introduce himself to you.
Hello, my name is Johnathan. I'm a student at Signature School, and I come here to help out with making some cookies for the YMCA staff. So, a few things that you need to know before you just jump into cooking or baking or whatever you're going to do. It is always important to wash your hands and or wear some gloves.
And we definitely want to stress safety. Safety, like Johnny pointed out, we're both wearing gloves. But it also means, working with sharp objects, you want to be really careful. Not to play around with sharp objects. They're used for intended purposes. And when you're working around surfaces like stoves, where it could be hot, you want to be really careful and mindful where you are. Any flames, if it was a gas stove, you want to make sure your apron or any loose clothing is not exposed to those flames. And with that, I think we're ready to cook and eat, right?
So today we're going to be making some cookies, and here's what you're going to need. So right here we have, of course, the cookies, some decorations for after they're done. We have some flour because you're going to need to put it down whenever you're rolling it out and shaping it. Of course, we have the cookie dough. We have a rolling pin to roll it out. And we have some cookie cutters and some no stick spray.
So to start off is probably the hardest part of our process. It's getting into this thing. So I'm going to have TJ actually give me some advice. Instead of making it an unsafe approach, I'm going to get some advice from my chef. So TJ, how do you advise me to cut this open?
So usually what you do is you start out where it starts wrinkling to decrease the amount of struggle you have to deal with. You start out where it starts wrinkling and you make a line from here to here.
Okay.
And then after that, it's just as simple as pulling it off and pulling out the dough.
All right, so let me give that a try. So that's where the wrinkle is. And I'm going to make an incision here and work my way back. That far enough?
Yep.
Okay. And then I'll open it. Okay. That worked. And voila! We have cookie dough.
I know this doesn't look too good right now, but trust me, it's going to look amazing in a second.
And I bet it'll taste really good. All right, TJ, now that we have the dough out, what do we do next?
So next what we do is we're going to get this into a ball, and then we're going to flour the table and roll it out to make our shapes.
Okay, so I'm going to follow your lead. And we're making one big ball.
Yep.
Reminds me of a snowball.
I mean, they're pretty much the same thing. You can eat both of them.
As long as you don't toss yours at me.
Yeah. Alright, so now once you have a pretty shaggy ball, you move your cutting board out of the way. I'll take that.
There you go.
You grab some flour.
Okay, with flour.
And what you do next is you grab yourself some flour and you shake it around your workspace.
Okay.
And then after you do that, you can just rub it around, move it around to try and get it as even as possible.
Okay.
Then you take your ball, you just put it down. And from there, you're going to grab your rolling pin and roll it out to make a flat kind of paper-like cookie dough. So before you actually end up rolling it out, you need to flour the rolling pin.
What?
And as you can see, we kind of made that mistake, but it's all right.
So flour the rolling pin.
Yep.
And I'm good with making messes, so this actually is pretty fun.
And then you can pick some of this up and sprinkle it onto there for parts that you may have missed. And then you just roll it onto there, or you just rub it onto there.
Okay.
So whenever you're about to end up rolling these out and cutting them out and putting them onto your sheet, what you want to do is right now you want to start heating up your oven. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit bake. And it says bake 350 degrees, set temp or press start. So I'm going to go ahead and press start, and now it's preheating. So what we're going to do now is we have our dough pretty much floured up and ready to be cut out. So I'm going to ask if you can grab a couple of those cutters.
Okay.
You can begin that.
All right. So which two would you like?
I like the tree and the stalking.
The tree and the stalking.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's not 1% of the field. But
Yeah.
I'll take the rest. Was that a loaf of bread?
I'm pretty sure that's a present.
I'll take the present. And the snowman. Okay.
So from here, we just start cutting them out. And what I like to do is I like to cut it out, wiggle it a little bit, and then pull it up. So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to have to lift up the excess dough and leave behind the cookie, which can be one of the hardest parts of the whole process. But the thing is, a lot of people use this for just making cake and cutting out cake, but it works wonders whenever you use it to do this process. So what you're going to do is you're going to get a little bit of flour, and you're going to rub it onto the metal, and somehow it sticks pretty well, so that's another good thing. So then you're going to take it in there and lift up the extra.
Oh, okay. So you're carving out the edges.
So while you're doing this, another thing that you want to do is put it all into one little pile. And that little pile is going to play a big role later on because, of course, you have the second cutter. So what you're going to do is go ahead and pick all of this up. There you go. And if you ever make little problems or little mistakes like this, wherever it starts sticking out, just pat it and tuck it back in. So now I have mine completely out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some flour, and a lot of people think this doesn't help, but I think it does. So you put some flour around the area where you're going to move the cookie.
You put the flour around the area.
This is only if you're doing a few of them. So you put it around the area where you're going to move the cookie, and you take your utensil. Sorry, I just need to grab some of this.
Oh, you can have as much as you like. Don't cost you.
Oh man. So what you start doing is you start like moving it so that the flour can get under here. So these go directly onto the baking sheet, and always put them facing or pointing from the top end away from wherever you're going to pull it out from. So with this sheet, this is where I'm pulling it out from, so I'm going to have the cookies like this.
Okay, so in your case, the tree trunks are going to face the direction that you're pulling the pan out. All right, while TJ's finishing up his batch, I'm going to put my snowman in. Now, normally you don't put snowman in the heat, but in this case, for the cookies purposes, we're going to go ahead and put them in the oven. TJ's preset the oven, and it's at 350, and it's ready to go.
So after the cookies are done in there, they're going to be golden brown and crispy, and they're going to look so good. Now, you might want to eat them right then, but the best thing to do is to go ahead and decorate them. So what you're going to do is you're going to take some icing as we have, and you're also going to take some little pieces of candy, which is also something that we have, and then you just put them onto your cookies in a certain pattern or however you want to do it, and it should look amazing.
So TJ, how long should the cookies cook?
They should, usually for these cookies that we're using, they usually cook for around 11 to 14 minutes.
Okay. So it'll be that long before I can taste some of the artwork that we created. TJ, I just want to say thanks for coming by today and helping me learn how to make cookies. It's my first batch ever.
No problem.
So thanks. And everybody looking, young and old, boys and girls, men and women, I just want to say Merry Christmas and take a shot. Try it while you're home over the holidays. It's pretty fun. Thanks.